Good evening, everybody. This is Cover Four with the guys. I am your host. My name is Nick. I got the boys with me. I got Terrance. How you feeling tonight, man?
Man, I'm feeling really good, man. Team doing well and ready to get into this topics with y'all tonight.
All right. Marquise, how you feeling, man?
Feeling straight, not doing too bad. Got a fresh cut, long live the King of Memphis, Young Dolph, tragedy, bro.
Yes. A lot of sadness in that whole event. So getting straight into it, we're actually going to start with some news adjacent to Quise's team, the Baltimore Ravens. Trace McSorley, he was able to finally get promoted back onto an actual roster for a team. He is now with the Arizona Cardinals. They've been lacking Kyler Murray for some time. They need some quarterback help. Quise, how do you feel for your man getting another shot and maybe playing in an actual game?
I think it's a big deal for him. I'm proud of him. He did a lot for us, just being on the practice squad, helping players get better, stepping in some games. He stepped in the Cleveland game for a little bit. It's nice to see. And honestly, I think it has a weird point of it. Like maybe something's actually wrong with Kyler because Colt McCoy is winning games. So unless you're adding him for depth or you're oh shit, something's wrong with Kyler. Because Colt McCoy and Trace Sorensen are two different. Or it's not Sorensen. I'm tripping, bro. Can't say this man name. McSorley. They're two different quarterbacks, bro. So that, what? I don't really get it, but I'm proud of him. I hope he does the damn thing up there, bro.
Yeah. How you feel about it, Terrance?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, I'm just thinking, just like he said, could be something potentially more wrong with Kyler. But at the same time, I'm also thinking maybe just in case they're without Kyler for a game or two, although Colt McCoy is playing well, I feel like Trace McSorley, I guess, is, more like Kyler. Like he can bring more of that, dynamic of running the ball, fear the quarterback out of the pocket, read option type of stuff that obviously Colt McCoy can bring to the game. So I think maybe I think they're thinking about, that factor that he brings to the game potentially, just in case they're without Kyler maybe for another game or two. So
yeah, absolutely. Always good to have insurance at the quarterback position. All right. So going back about 5 weeks now, remember when the Bills dog walked the Chiefs and everyone was like, okay, Kansas City's having a bad year. That was one. But immediately at that time, we started to say, all right, maybe the Bills are the favorites. They've been crowned. McDermott's doing a great job coaching. Maybe Josh McAllen is closer to Pat than we think. Stephon Diggs, all of them, their defense is ridiculous. They're going to run that division. Obviously, a lot has changed since that game. The Bills are now 2-3. They just got dog walked by the Colts. Is it time to maybe start pressing some alert on the Buffalo Bills? Quise, what you think?
Honestly, yeah, because all the problems that were wrong with Buffalo, we knew from last year what was wrong with them.
Yeah.
Their offensive line wasn't that great. It's not the worst, but it's I'd say probably middle of the pack. And they don't have a running back, bro. Yeah. How do you not address that? Their defense is good. I love their defense. I think their defense is pretty well put together. Maybe they're an impact player away, on the line, defensive line, maybe one that can get out the pass rusher. But Greg Rousseau from Miami's doing great. So I don't really know. The only thing I can tell that to is the offensive line, no running back, relying too much on Josh Allen. Josh Allen regressing a little bit. But that's the thing. This is all stuff they knew. They knew how Josh Allen played. He's a bit of a loose cannon, kind of got to reel him in. It's just, you can hit the panic button. I didn't crown him because I didn't think
they
needed to be
I was saying the overall NFL noise is what I meant.
It's crazy.
What I was gonna say though is they're kind of in a similar predicament that Kansas City was. So remember when people just started playing Kansas City deep and they're like, whatever, let them get the under throws, let them, as long as we just don't give up big plays, let's see. And they started, it looked like that was working. I think that you're right, Keith. I think it's kind of the same thing. All right, obviously Josh Allen wants to air it out and he's pretty much their running back and quarterback. They're like, if we can just keep him from running like crazy and just apply pressure up the middle, it looks like that. What do you think it is, Terrance?
Yeah, I definitely think it's time for them to, take a deeper look into the issues that they're having. Like you said, Josh Allen just got paid. And he's definitely not living up to that contract so far. So I think it's an issue. And just like Keith said as well, we've known before the season that the running game was an issue. And honestly, we thought that their defense was better, to be, just flat out honest. Their defense is flat out underperforming, not living up to, who we thought that they were, honestly. And then obviously Josh Allen is just playing mediocre football, and maybe teams have figured him out potentially. But yeah, I definitely think it's time to take a deeper look into what's going on. Definitely a tight race in the AFC. I know we still have to play them, 2 times at the tail end of the season. So it's going to be fun to see.
And on the flip side of that coin, so everyone thought that was about the time. I think the next week was when they played the Titans and got killed. And that was the Chiefs. We were starting to hit the panic button on them. Since then, though, they're now on a 4-game win streak. They beat the Raiders. Raiders are having a much better year than expected, especially with all the drama coming out of their camp. And, they were just able to stop we know that the biggest issue is their defense, and they just stopped the high-powered offense of the Cowboys, held them to 9 points. Pat still struggled, but the defense came through for them. Do we think that they're now going to start hitting some kind of crazy strides? So remember, like Tampa last year kind of had an up and down start to the season and really hit it right at the end. Do we think that the Chiefs are going to get in that realm, or have they just kind of gotten a little lucky, because Aaron didn't play in the game where they played them? Maybe Dallas just had a bad game. Terrance, what do you think?
I think a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of a luck, and then also mixed with a little bit of finding their stride a little bit, because defensively they've been playing honestly lights out the past couple of weeks. So if you want to look at that, I mean, all of us know that this is not the strong point of their team. It's definitely not the defense. So for them to be stepping up and playing the way that they've been playing the past couple of weeks, and they're winning games, and it's like, hey, like, are we kind of like playing complementary football here? What are we doing? So, I feel like the Chiefs definitely, I mean, they're finding their stride. They're playing good defense, and, offense, obviously, we feel like at any point can just be explosive, just explosive as anybody in the NFL. So I definitely think they're starting to find their stride. I think so.
Yep. Quise, what do you think?
I think they need to keep playing. I think it's Juan Thornhill over Daniel Sorensen. I would keep doing that every day, 10 out of 10. And then they did the best thing they could have did on that defense was put Chris Jones back at defensive tackle.
Back in the middle, yep.
That's where I brought that up because I mean it would have been nice to see how he is on the end, but I just don't think he's that athletic and that durable for you to have him outside.
Maybe, and they're so weak in the internal besides.
Yeah, they're so weak. So I think he benefits there, and they got Melvin Ingram on the edge, so that helps.
He's definitely helped a ton since he's got picked up.
And then as long as Frank Clark's healthy for him, I think he's extremely overpaid. He got a ridiculous contract. Like if you look at Kansas City's team, I think future-wise they're kind of in a bit of trouble because where their money's tied up. Anthony Hickinson's, I think, is getting $10 million a year or something, the middle linebacker. Tyrann Mathieu is going to need to get paid this offseason. Frank Clark's getting $25 million a year. It doesn't make sense. But I think offensively, I think they're getting a bit of a groove. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, which is a big deal for them. I don't think having Homeboy throw the ball 50 times is ideal. It's just like I don't think having your running back run the ball 30 times is ideal. But, I mean, it's crazy. They're rolling. I don't know if they're just going to take off. But if their defense plays good and Mahomes doesn't turn the ball over, I think they could get in stride. I don't know how much they'll take off, to be honest, though, because there's still a lot that could get picked apart on that team, I feel like.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely agree with y'all. That I don't think it's we can say that they've turned it around yet. I mean, they are number one in their division now. They've gone from literally last place to first place in this streak. And they definitely look better. But my biggest concern is Pat still looks bad. Like, I know that the defense looks like it's stepping up, but like, he didn't have a single touchdown and a pick. He's still kind of making error throws. He's definitely still not getting help from his receivers. I don't know what's going on with Tyreek and them, but it's like, I don't know if teams are figuring them out. Yeah, I don't know if teams have figured them out, but the offense, I don't care how good the defense is playing right now. That is not sustainable. We know that they don't have the playmakers. So we'll see.
Travis Kelce was dropping the ball a lot.
Travis Kelce,
what's going on with Travis?
Everything.
Bro? It's scary. Nick, you do bring up a good point though about
Josh Gordon too.
I mean that, yeah, Josh, but Nick, you did bring up a good point about Mahomes. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I forget. People don't realize this. He played real bad in 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is that gap from him and those other dudes. Like there is a slight gap, but I feel like it got over. Like people thought it was so much larger than what it really was.
They were saying he was better than Aaron Rodgers, which we've realized is like he still hasn't caught him yet. And it's like we were so ready to crown him the next GOAT, and he still could be. I mean, he's definitely got that potential, but like we thought he was already there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. People were throwing him over those young dudes like he was just so much better than them. I'm telling you, like I don't know the big difference between him and a lot of those dudes. Like
if he has another season like this, then we're really having the conversation of he's in that pack. It's no longer that he's the clear favorite.
Yeah,
for sure.
You bring up the 2 Super Bowls, bro. Like you're like, bro, you played real bad. Like granted, the second one he didn't play that bad. They just dropped the ball. I'll give him that. But the first one he looked awful
until the fourth quarter. He was bad. Yeah. So that's definitely been the biggest concern. So the best team currently is actually the Tennessee Titans. Besides the Arizona Cardinals, they're undefeated against all of the like upper echelon teams in the league right now. They did get, smacked by the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are arguably the best. I mean, actually have the best record. I apologize. The Cardinals have the best record in the NFL. The Titans have the best record in the AFC. But the only problem I have is that the other 2 losses they have are versus the Jets and the Texans, who are garbage. Is this more of they're playing down to their competition, or is it just they need to get their personnel back? What's going on, and do we believe in the hype behind the Titans? Quise.
They need to get their personnel back. I haven't seen Julio at full strength. I do say that is something that is a big issue. I wish I could see him at full strength because I think he's spectacular. Like Nick alludes to, Nick thinks he's the best receiver ever, but I think he's up there.
That's my dog.
I think it just shows that they don't trust Ryan Tannehill, to be honest. Because even missing those receivers and them being in and out of the lineup, you still got to produce. Like I think he's getting paid $25 million a year. And it just goes to show, like, they really went off of Derrick Henry in that defense. And I don't think, granted, before this season, like, Ryan Tannehill had a real consistent, like, numbers, like, kind of how Kirk Cousins does. Like, they kind of have consistent numbers. They ain't going to win games, but they might not throw you out of a game. Or they could,
Yeah.
So, I just think it puts more pressure on Ryan Tannehill because I don't know if the Titans necessarily trust him. Like, the Colts got the same issue a little bit with Wentz, but I feel like they trust Wentz a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I wouldn't necessarily even honestly, none of us had them being this good of a team before the season. Like, their defense, is playing crazy.
Yeah,
so
that's what it is. So I think everybody thought they were going to be good because of all the offensive weapons, and it's been the opposite. I mean, obviously Derrick Henry was running shit, but the defense is what's like blowing everyone's mind. Sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
No, you're fine. So that's my point exactly, is their defense is playing ridiculous, and I don't honestly think it's sustainable for them to win games just because, like you said, they're missing Derrick Henry as well, and they're also – Tannehill isn't playing that good, and then – they picked up Adrian Peterson, I don't know, thinking he was going to be somebody that can come in and fill the role, and they just released him.
Oh, that was tickets. They were just trying to sell tickets.
Like
they said, Derrick
I think
Henry
they're quickly to fall off, especially without Derrick Henry. And then if you look at a team like the Colts, who are playing, man, they're playing some good football right now. So to be in the same division as that team, I mean, without Derrick Henry. We don't know, what it's looking like for him for the rest of the season.
They said he's coming back in January, possibly.
My big thing about and obviously I have close proximity to this because of the way it played out. I think that the biggest problem with Tennessee's offense is I think Arthur Smith really did. I do not believe in the Arthur Smith system in Atlanta. And I've come to realize that I don't think he's a bad coach. I just don't think what we have personnel-wise fits what he wants to do. Where it works is in Tennessee. We saw that's why Tannehill went from being like borderline out of the league when he left Miami to being borderline comeback player of the year in Tennessee. We've seen what he's been able to do from the play action perspective with A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry. Now you add Julio into the mix, and let's say he was healthy. That offense would have been insane with Arthur Smith. You bring Arthur Smith to Atlanta, true. He's trying to treat Mike Davis like he's Derrick Henry, and I'm sorry, my dude, you are not him. Somehow Cordarrelle Patterson has had he might be the the breakout player of the year, and I'm not even being biased. Who's been the most surprising player this year?
Yeah,
Might be Cordarrelle Patterson. Matt Ryan's getting murdered on these play action passes because our offensive line can't handle it, and he refuses to go away from that system. So, and I get it because that's all Arthur Smith has known. It just doesn't fit. So I think that's also been the biggest struggle with Tennessee's offense. And despite that and the injuries, that defense is holding up. I almost refuse to believe the defense is for real because like they were so bad going into this year. But we'll see. So the playoffs are around the corner, and like Terrance said, they're dealing with probably the most dangerous team right now, one of the hottest teams right now in the Colts.
What's funny? There's probably 4 teams I don't want to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Patriots,
the
Ravens, the Titans if they get Henry, and probably the Colts.
You say the Ravens? Oh, yeah. You say okay. I'm
saying
period. I thought you were talking about the Ravens don't want to play. I'm saying
if you're the Bills, the Chiefs,
an opposing team,
those are 4 teams you probably damn sure don't want to see.
Yeah.
You don't want to see Bill and the Patriots if you're a young quarterback.
Yeah.
Or if you're Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen, you're probably gonna get annihilated, right?
Yeah.
If you're any of those other teams, you don't want to have to go tackle Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And the way it's looking like, you don't want to have to tackle Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, we'll get into
touchdowns.
We'll get
exactly. And then I don't think anybody wants to deal with Lamar somehow carrying this Ravens team like he is, which is, I think it's fucking insane.
It is insane.
Yeah. So imagine them, like, you get them in a playoff situation. Granted, like I tell you guys all the time, like, I don't have the Ravens going to the Super Bowl, but like they could knock someone off on the way like that is trying to get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the halftime segment, every week we go over our top 10 players of the week. This week we're getting honored with Quise's top 10 players. Quise, just run through that list really quick, give us some stats, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hit you guys with the top 10 players of the week. 6 through 10, I'm just gonna spill off the names of who they are, and then 1 through 5, I'm gonna hit you with the stats and where I put them. I got Kyle Van Noy at 10 for the Patriots. 9, I got Desmond King. 8, I got Aaron Rodgers. 7 is Kirk Cousins. 6, Austin Eckler. And then 5, I got Colt McCoy. 328 yards, 2 tubs. He's 2-0 with the Cardinals. With no D-Hop. Obviously, he's replacing Kyle Murray. I don't know how the hell they're winning games.
No, he's 2-1, I think.
Yeah, he's 2. Well, the other dude finished the game. I think he got tweaked. But yeah, he did lose that one game.
Okay, my bad. We dropped one, right? Jonathan Taylor is looking like an animal. He had 32 touches, which I think is too damn much for a running back to get. He had 185 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also caught a touchdown. So he had 5 touchdowns. Last person to do that. Last person to do some shit like that. You want to know who it was? Or no? Actually, no. That was actually for Austin Eckler's stat, because Austin Eckler had 2 running and then 2 catches. It was Maurice Jones-Drew was the last person to do that, I think. Might be confusing it. Anyway, DeAndre Swift is having a hell of a year. I feel like people aren't talking about this enough because Jared Goff is shitting the bed for them.
And the Lions, period.
Yeah, and it's just the Lions. But this man
beat the Browns, though.
Bro, this man, DeAndre Swift, put up at 14 touches, 136 yards, and 1 touchdown. What? And he's a small back. He's not a big dude. Now, he be running in between the tackles. He don't be running like, all right, we're gonna hit you in the 8 hole. We're gonna do sweeps. We're gonna do pitches. No, they be hitting the 2, bro, the 3 hole. Just like, all right, bro, I'm gonna do and just getting off. So I kind of like that. Justin Jefferson is safe to say not hitting the sophomore slump. I didn't think he was going to, but he is nowhere near sophomore slump. He is having.
He said he had something for the Packers though.
Yeah, bro. He had a year. He had a game day for him. He had the Randy Moss jersey on or shirt on before the game.
That's when they should have known it was a problem. When he came out in that shirt, he was coming out in rare form.
Bro, he put up 8 receptions, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. I want y'all to know one of the
Julio numbers. Julio numbers.
Bro, one of them touchdowns. He mossed Buddy, and it looked ridiculous, right? Number 1, I got the big man. I got Chris Jones, 3.5 sacks, 5 tackles, and forced fumble. He looked ridiculous, bro.
He's back in his element. Yeah,
he's back in the zone. Keep that man in the middle of the line. He looks great. I like him there, and he's a force right there. So I think you got to keep him there.
The only thing I was going to say, and maybe I'm just getting really hyped off of how he's coming up. The only one I just would have had Jonathan Taylor number 1. That's just me personally. But no, I love your list. I thought the list was perfect.
I mean, I would have put JT first, but I just looked at the touches, and then I watched the Kansas City game, and I saw the impact that Chris Jones was wreaking havoc.
Yeah, I mean, you did. You stopped arguably the best looking offense in the league, and Dallas held them to 9 points single-handedly at the line of scrimmage through Chris Jones. So no, that is
I don't need no Cowboys fans hitting that shit where they're like, oh, well, we didn't have our starting left tackle and we didn't have our number one receiver. Congratulations. The Chiefs.
Welcome to the NFL. No one's had anybody.
Ravens got 20 people on IR. Sure. All right, I ain't trying to hear none of that shit, bro. Kick rocks with all that, because at the end of the day, the Chiefs' weak point is their secondary, and guess what? You still had 3 other good receivers. So I ain't trying to hear none of that shit.
Terrance, how are you feeling about the list? Is there any discrepancies you got? Anybody that should have deserved an honorable mention or something?
Nah, I liked it. This is pretty good to me, honestly.
I had to throw your boy on there, Kyle and Noy. I honestly wanted him to be a Raven this offseason, but we're kind of thick at linebacker in a way, like not all the way around, but in some spots. And the spot he plays, because he doesn't play middle, he's outside. So it's like, damn, we kind of got a lot of people on the outside. He looked great in that offense, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see when y'all get Jamie Collins back healthy too. I feel like y'all got
us getting him too.
Y'all got the old dudes playing stellar. Matt Judon, damn near looking like an MVP candidate. I'm gonna just say that
he's balling out of control for sure. I'm loving every second of it.
as we move on to the next one, I wanted to make this one special for Terrance because we given him so much shit all year. We said that they gotta prove it to us, and I don't think we can say anymore that they're not proving it. So Terrance, we're just gonna do 2 back-to-back for you, man. We're gonna let you bloat a little bit, even though y'all killed my boys this weekend.
Ew.
Got that $20.
I'm still waiting on mine.
Man, his word.
We gotta wait at least one more week. All right, so Terrance, tell us what has been the key to the success. What have been some stats that stood out to you about the Patriots so far this season?
Yeah, so some interesting facts about the Patriots. So we're going back to, I feel like this is how Bill Belichick wants to play football.
Yeah.
So personnel snaps at 21 personnel, 71. So a lot of 2 tight end sets. I feel like Bill wants to run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, right now with an ascending quarterback and, just having him not, make any turnovers, force the issue or anything like that, be able to control the game. I feel like that's the type of ball Bill wants to play, similar to what we had with, Gronk and Hernandez and everything. Also, you got Mac Jones completing 70% of his passes. He would be first in the league. He's only behind Kyler Murray, who's at 72%. However, he hasn't played the past couple games, so he could potentially be number 1.
Hey, I don't mean to shit on that stat, but it's 20 yards and 100. He completing all them passes too. But keep going.
You say what now?
Oh, here we go. I was trying to look it up.
It is, bro.
We're like number 2 in deep passes in the league.
Hey, but the completion percentage, y'all could be number 2 and just throwing it. You could be number 2 and just chucking that bitch down the field and not getting any completion.
I'm gonna look it up. Don't worry. I'm gonna look it up.
All right.
Oh no, I got it right here. Hold on. We are 34 completed passes, 20 plus, 4 at 40 plus, long as 75.
It's okay. Y'all ain't high up there, big dog. I'm just getting on you.
I'm gonna look up the percentile for that. But
he is completing all those passes 20 yards and under, though. Is pinpoint accurate with that. And honestly, I don't blame him. I just get more annoyed with the fact that if he throws for 100 and like less than 80 yards, and I've seen other quarterbacks do that and get ripped apart for not throwing for more than 180 yards and still winning games. I think it's a recipe to win if Mac is winning and not throwing interceptions. But I've seen other quarterbacks get their shit ripped apart for not throwing for, you didn't throw for 300 yards.
The big thing was, which I'm going to tell you, so he is averaging 7.3 yards per throw. So don't be acting like it's just being conducted the whole time. However, we are finding our stride. For like, we're 4th in points scored at 300 and 2nd in points allowed at 177. Then another interesting fact as well, we have 3 running backs averaging over 4 yards a carry. Brandon Bolden averages over 5, I believe. So that's a big fact right there. And also over this win streak, we've had, is it either 13 or 15 turnovers So, and the 13 turnovers over the last 5 games are more than 17 NFL teams have seen all season. So I feel like the defense is playing lights out.
Yeah, JC Jackson saying pay me pretty much. He is saying pay me. Matt Judon saying I am here. It looks great.
I hope we do. You want to know something crazy too? That I also took a screenshot on my phone the other day. I thought it was crazy. So receiving stats since October 24th. JC Jackson, 4 interceptions, 91 yards and a touchdown. Odell Beckham, 3 catches, 24 yards.
Bro, cut it out. Don't even. Bro, you're going to give these people something to talk about Odell, man.
I thought that was insane.
Leave that, man.
I'm leaving him alone. I just thought that was insane.
You know why it's insane? Because imagine you get open on a fly route or a cut or a 10-yard fucking post, and I miss you every time.
Listen, JC he play defense.
Yeah, that's the Baker throwing them damn interceptions.
All right. So keeping it moving, we're gonna keep letting Terrance ride this wave. But I actually want to. Marquise like to give him shit. I've been giving him shit all year, so I actually want to take some time and say what I wanted to say about it. So they're on a 5-game win streak, now leading in their division, the division that, and I was one of them. Thought the Bills would run right away with, and wasn't going to see the light of day on the next person. The Pats are now in the driver's seat. I'll say this: what Terrance kind of said, what it really is I think Bill, who's arguably the greatest coach of all time, figured out his personnel and figured out exactly how to play it. He's got Mac. Mac did have an interception. That's just AJ Terrell is literally the only thing on defense that we have. Honestly, Grady Jarrett's having a bad year.
Deion Jones. That was a terrible throw too. I ain't gonna lie. When he threw that shit, I was like, bro, there's 3 people over there.
Yeah, but honestly, Max found his stride. He's willing to do what Bill says, so that shows how smart he is at such a young age. Bill knows to go back those 2 tight. We literally had this conversation not too long ago. We were saying, like, as long as he keeps those 2 tight end sets and stops putting Mac in the shotgun, lets him get under center and run a more pro style offense like he was at Alabama, because they got the good offensive line. The running backs are playing surprisingly well, whether that's Bill's play calling or those running backs are better than we think they are. It's probably
did I not tell y'all this about our running game before the season and our O-line was good?
You did. I'm giving you all the praise. I'm letting them be known. You were right. We were wrong. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Look, I thought the Falcons would go win 11 games. Unless we go undefeated the rest of the season, that shit ain't happening. But anyway.
So listen, an interesting fact too, as well. So over the
this man came with every stat.
The first,
yeah, you damn right. Because I got a gloat on y'all. I got a gloat on y'all. Y'all try me. So
I didn't try shit. I said y'all motherfuckers go win 10 games. Okay.
How that's looking for you?
I think I said 7.
It's looking pretty accurate.
Okay.
So y'all gotta lose every game for me to be right about that.
So over the first 6 games where we're 2-4, we only averaged 86.7 rushing yards. But over our 5-game winning streak, we've averaged 151.8. So I feel like that's what's really helped Mac Jones, like you said, going to that 21 personnel and being able to run the ball as well as we have.
I can't remember what game it was where he had 50 passes, but I was like, y'all never win games with him throwing 50 passes. That was like ridiculous.
If y'all had a real bell cow running back, kind of how like Jonathan Taylor is for the Colts, or like Derrick Henry, or even
if y'all got Marlon Mack,
my God.
I was actually thinking about this. Imagine if they got Marlon Mack to get in that backfield. Then
there's some situations where running back, like a bell cow running back, or just a running back that's like Dalvin Cook. Like, no, he looks terrible. But
because he's on that Giants, bro. Put him on that Patriots team. I'm telling you, he might shine.
He's playing kind of timid. Like, he don't want to get injured, but he did just tear his knee, so I get it.
Yeah,
it's not the end of the world.
And he had Jason Garrett as his offensive coordinator. You're playing on the sorry Giants. That's what I'm saying. You had a sorry offensive coordinator. Yeah, he got fired.
Jason Garrett got fired.
Oh, you got to
listen. I can show you this clip. This clip where Daniel Jones draws back the pass, and there's 3 receivers all standing right by each other in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like, who is Daniel Jones going to throw the ball to? They're all literally right here, like nobody knows.
Brought the whole defense.
Their offensive line is so bad, bro. I can't even get a correct judgment on Daniel Jones. Like, I don't think Daniel Jones is great. Because you can't even see how
sometimes then he looks awful and you don't know what it is.
Yeah, you can't even see how like good is he? Is he like okay good? Is he like Baker Mayfield good? We're like, okay, we just get a good run game. He's gonna go pretty good and maybe excel from there. Is he Kirk Cousins good? Is he, like Ryan Tannehill? Like you can't even say that because he looks fucking awful because his offensive line. And that
and nobody knows what route to run.
Bro, they have so much talent at receiver. It makes no sense, bro.
The
They
only
got three-headed monster if you think about it.
My favorite thing about Daniel
Saquon,
Jones
and Kadarius Toney. I mean,
they got the pieces. My favorite thing about Daniel Jones is I've never seen someone that can, because let's be honest, the dude's fast, but he's not shifty.
Yeah, he's fast.
I've never seen someone so fast and it be not shifty at all. Because it's like once he gets to the outside and it's a straight line, not many people can catch him. I'm like, but then when he's got to make a move, he can't do it. It blows my mind every time.
I've seen people like that. I'm just trying to think. People are like that though. Like it's just hard for them to cut.
Yeah, but like once it's like he's like run every time he runs. I'm like run, Forrest, run, bro. It's just a straight line. He's gone.
Hey, people don't know. Old boy Tom got loose for like a 10-yard run, bro. I was like,
don't even get me started. I don't know if y'all saw my tweet last night. And I hate the taunting call. I'm not saying that we should implement that, but if all these other bullshit ass things are taunting, how is that, bro? He
almost hit dude.
He checked every box. He checked, put the ball out, spiked it, pointed, did the whole let's fucking go and flex.
Nah, he almost hit somebody when he did that.
And then flexed on everybody. Didn't get a flex.
I ain't gonna lie. If I'm old like he is and I run for 10-something yards,
I loved it. I loved it.
It's a third down.
I hate Tom Brady and I loved watching that shit. But what I'm saying is how is that of all the bullshit we've seen this year? How was that not taunting? But I'm glad they didn't call it because that was that shit was fucking crazy to watch. And then how about when he slid? He almost took old boy out too. That shit was
he kicked. It looked like he kicked him on purpose.
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
That was a legit move into a slide. Like I'm like, damn, bro, he slid good. I forgot he used to play baseball. I'm like, that makes sense. Never mind.
Yeah. All right, so
Tom ain't taking no hits.
Yeah. Moving on. So we kind of talked about it a little bit with Colt McCoy, and he's been balling out. How impressed are we with the Cardinals that they've still been able to keep winning games? You know, they got the best record in the NFL and are missing the midget. What are we doing? Quise, how do you feel about the Cardinals? Are they proving how legit they really were out the gates with this win streak, or are they just kind of, moving on? Because they did beat San Francisco. San Francisco.
They're missing the badass little kid in the backfield to be running. But I think it looks great. I need them to do what the Ravens didn't do in 19 when they got hot and it looked insane. I need them to get the Super Bowl. They're not my pick, but you can't let this season, like how they're rolling, just go down.
Because this could be your shot. Like this could be like how it was for the Falcons in 2016. That was our shot. We know.
And it's one of those. Nobody saw this.
It's one of those ones. Like I feel like for the Ravens, I felt like if we would have got there, it just would have been enough for the following season. Like even if we didn't win, I feel the same way for the Cardinals. If you can at least get there, those dudes are going to come back. They're all young for the most part. They're going to come back even more hungry. But you got to get there. And the fact that they're winning these games, shout out to their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury.
Without Nuke too.
Now I'll say this: the craziest part about all this is bringing in Cliff Kingsbury, because everyone was like, you remember they drafted Josh Rosen, they gave him 1 year. They didn't even allow him, they literally took the gamble on both Kyler and the coach. No one knew if it was going to work. Now, yes, they did get so lucky because O'Brien gave them, D-Hop for a bag of chips. So, but I mean, shout out to that organization to be able to move from one era to the next. I know they still had Larry Fitz for a little bit, but, he was obviously much older. You lost out on Kurt Warner in all those years, and just being able to flip around in kind of like a 5 to 10 year window like that. I mean, shout out to that franchise if they can keep it going. How do you feel about that?
Zach Ertz looked good there too, honestly.
Yeah, and they got Zach Ertz. Yeah,
he does. I mean, I think it's impressive to see somebody step in that's a total different type of quarterback, such as like a Colt McCoy, without DeAndre Hopkins. However, I will say they are talented. So I'm not going to skip over the fact that even without DeAndre Hopkins, they're pretty talented at receiver.
Yeah.
And then also on the defensive side of the ball, we already know they have a lot on the defensive end as well. So,
do you think they're legit? Do you think this is a legit year for them?
See, it's tough because the NFC has several teams. Yeah, it's so top heavy in the NFC right now that I'm like, the Cardinals, like he said, nobody saw the Cardinals being in the position they are now. So they have to get to the Super Bowl this year. So I'm with Keith on that.
If you look at it, though, this is what I thought about this. There's 5 teams in the NFC. And out of these 5 teams, just say one of them ain't going to fucking make it. You got the Cowboys. I got to put them here. I don't want to. The Cowboys, the Packers, the Bucks, the Cards, who's the other team?
Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. Yeah.
Who the fuck is not making it? Like, you got those 5 teams.
That's tough.
And it doesn't make sense. Like, who do you pick? I don't know who you pick.
Yeah.
Just pick your poison, honestly. It's top heavy for sure.
I'm going to eliminate the Cowboys if I pick anybody, but that's it.
I mean, but they're going to win the division. So, all right. So moving on from that, obviously we talked about the Colts and how they besides them and the Patriots, probably the 2 hottest teams right now. I mean, the Patriots, I'll continue to give Terrance some praise today. The Patriots are the hottest team right now, but I'll also give the Colts a shout out. So the Colts mollywopped the Bills, dropped a 41-15 piece on them. Jonathan Taylor, and Derrick Henry's absence, I'm just saying, has been balling out of control. What do we think about the Colts? Their defense has stepped up like crazy. Carson Wentz is borderline back where he was when he was playing with the he didn't do much this weekend. He didn't have to because they just put everything on Jonathan Taylor, but he's playing a lot better.
Note too. I got a side note for this. That's just statistically is insane, right?
Okay.
So you have Jonathan Taylor, now has moved into the number 1 rushing, in the league.
Hold on. Are you going to talk about the carries? Are you going to talk about the carries?
No, Derrick Henry still is number 2 in yards.
Okay. Because we're gonna get to the carry thing in a little bit, but
we gotta establish this, bro. Look at this. People were saying, remember I said Wentz going to the Colts was a big deal. Remember I said in the offseason, I said this is a big deal. Everybody's like, no, it's not a big deal. He's not gonna do anything for him, right? This man has 2,000 yards passing, 2,484, right? He has 18 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. Remember the problem in Philly was this motherfucker was throwing the ball away too much. It was
fumbles. It was turnovers. Period.
It was every turnover.
People were talking about Jameis. If you took away, it's easy to say, take away the interceptions. Outside of Jameis, this dude turned the ball over more than anybody.
Yeah, he was a turnover machine.
Exactly.
I definitely feel like I think it looks good on their, because this is what they want to do. They want to be able to run the ball, play action off of it. They have guys that can make plays, and then they're defensively, they're one of the best defenses in the NFL as well. So if you're able to dominate the time of possession as well, that's also in their favor because you keep that defense, fresh. You give yourself a really good chance to win the game. And I feel like, it's working right now, but like you said, is it really sustainable? Is it really right to give Jonathan Taylor 30, 40 touches a game? How long is he going to stay healthy getting all the touches?
I think it's successful in the aspect of they trust Carson Wentz, which is a lot more than we can say for Tennessee. Because let's be honest, Carson Wentz, even with the knee surgeries, is a better pure talent than Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. I will let people know at talent level, I'm taking Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Easy, no questions asked, right? So you have that. But I like Terrance alluded to the too many carries. I'm not letting no running back touch the ball more than 30 times, bro. I don't even Derrick Henry, I ain't doing it, bro. It's just too much of a beating, even with a great offensive line.
So I'll give them a pass.
They got a couple backs too.
They're like 4 running backs deep.
That's what I was gonna say. I'll give them a pass on this 1 week doing the 35 carries because let's face it, the Bills their weakness is their interior defense. So they got decent pass rushers, but their big part of their defense is their secondary. So the fact that they knew we can't let the pass rushers get after Carson Wentz because he's made of glass, and we gotta, expose that weakness. So I'll actually chalk it up to coaching. If you know when to do it, I guess it's not that bad. But if they make this a habit and do it every week, because Carson only threw 20 passes, there's a reason for that. They didn't want him dropping back that much. If they can get that, the only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that you still had Nyheim Hines and he only had 4 carries. They didn't have to kill Jonathan Taylor like that. But if you only do it once or twice in the season, I'm not too mad at it.
Yeah, you can get away with Wentz throwing the ball 20 times, but like Nick said, just getting the Nyheim carries up more.
Just
and then since you didn't trade Marlon Mack, you might as well throw his ass back into the 3-ring circus of those running backs.
At this point, you might as well release my man. Free Marlon.
Yeah.
Bro, shut up. That man can get. The thing is, if Jonathan Taylor wasn't so good, he'd get more touches. It's just the fact of it is, all right, well, we're not going to cut Jonathan Taylor down too much for Nyheim Hines and Marlon Mack. If
Philip Lindsay is available too.
Yeah. So do we think in Derrick Henry's absence, and some of the quarterbacks' numbers have been, obviously Lamar's still up there. Even despite the numbers, I mean, he'll have to fall out eventually. But Derrick Henry, if he came back tomorrow, would still be in the MVP chase. Has
Definitely
Jonathan Taylor been able to really start to make his own claim for MVP, seeing how the Colts have taken off and the numbers that he's putting up? This is the number that I wanted to bring up. And I saw Quise arguing with someone about it earlier. It is crazy. And I do blame Tennessee for this. That's why he's hurt. But even though he's played 3 more games than Derrick Henry, he still has like 50 less carries and now has more yards and more touchdowns, averaging more yards to carry, all that.
Tennessee shit the bet on that because they
Insane,
let go of all that man's
3 games. He's had 3 games and still hasn't touched him in carries.
They let go of that man's weapons from last year with Jonathan Smith and Corey Davis. They didn't even offer Corey Davis a damn contract. Granted, Corey Davis ain't spectacular, but he's a great, solid number 2 to have.
He balled for them, though. He balled for them.
So if you could have kept him, even though Arthur Smith didn't stay, you could have kept some of the pieces in place. Yeah. Meaning that would have been fine. And maybe you didn't need to go snag Julio. I mean, granted, it doesn't hurt to have Julio, but it does now because he's injured. So you don't even have him.
But I mean, honestly, with the way that they're playing and still winning games, I love Julio. I think he's the GOAT. You might not need him.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, they're still winning games. But the way Jonathan Taylor's rolling, the only way he's getting MVP, sad to say, he's going to have to clip the 2,000-yard mark, which I think even if he doesn't, he should get it if he finishes high. But we know it's a quarterback award. The NFL needs to do something about it because I'm sick of this shit. Because I get between Matt Judon, we got Jonathan Taylor. There's a receiver I'm not named. I can't think of his name. Probably Deebo Samuels.
Cooper Kupp. Yeah, Cooper Kupp.
Deebo Samuels, Cooper Kupp. And people forget Deebo Samuels getting used like a running back at times, right?
Yeah.
They're not even thinking like, damn, bro, some of these dudes could actually win MVP. I ain't named no quarterbacks since then.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think what the Colts are doing, hopefully they keep using Jonathan Taylor right. I hope he finishes the season strong. Probably, I hope he clips the 2,000-yard mark, and I hope Derrick Henry comes back and gives him more competition to clip the 2,000-yard mark.
Yeah. Terrance, what do you think? You think he has a realistic look at the MVP?
I mean, if he keeps up this type of performance, I think he does. But I hope they don't because it's good to see somebody else, getting the shine as well. Obviously I don't want to see Derrick Henry hurt, but it's also good to see someone else shining.
Because it was Derrick Henry, then 80 yards, and then everybody else.
It'd be some bullshit though. He gets it, and Derrick Henry should have got it last year. It doesn't get
that
it.
Would be some shit.
I wouldn't even be. It ain't even funny to me because if I see some shit like that happen, Derrick Henry should have got it last year. I'm
gonna rob Aaron Rodgers and go give him that.
Bro, I'd be so pissed they do some shit like that. That don't make no sense.
But it's insane. But I definitely think he'd be in the conversation for sure. Especially if he clips the 2,000-yard mark, I think he'll get it. But I mean, outside of that as well, I mean he's also a great receiving back as well. So he also gets a lot of touches out of the backfield catching the ball. So I mean, if he keeps up these type of performances, I definitely think he could, especially being they're winning games and the way, he's impacting his team and winning those games. So I definitely think he would be in the conversation.
I'll be straight up. The reason why I just keep throwing people's names out, I feel like every time I get on here, I try to throw someone else's name. Because I'm with you, Quise. I'm sick of just seeing quarterbacks every year just running away with it. Honestly, the last one that I feel like genuinely hands down deserved was Lamar's, because I mean, and Pat Mahomes, and they were back to back. Them two, they deserved it because they looked ridiculous. They were video game characters those years. But other than that, I feel like every year there's been a claim. Aaron Rodgers is my favorite quarterback of all time, and even I'll admit Derek really probably should have got it because Aaron put up crazy numbers and put MVP numbers up, but Derrick Henry is literally the heart and soul of that Tennessee offense. Like. I don't know. And
imagine that Judon keeps getting sacks and Trevon Diggs keeps picking people off. If you
Diggs is the other one, bro. Diggs is the other one.
Yeah.
Diggs, I feel bad that we took this long to bring him up. Cornerbacks that can just say, you're averaging a pick a game. Name the last time someone did that.
I mean, the only people I can think of is either Ed or Marcus Peters.
Yeah.
And I remember I counted up Marcus Peters. His ended early. Like he almost had to pick a game early on. Yeah. And then I think like there was 1 week he didn't have one. But Trevon Diggs didn't have one, but
yeah, but then
he's
every
had
time,
games where he snagged 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every time
yeah.
he doesn't get 1, he gets 2. It's like, okay, I missed one. I'll make it up next week. It's like, it's crazy. All right, so this is, we've been having our boy Ant on as our special guest the last couple of weeks. So we've been kind of slacking on the overtime, just due to time restraints and things like that. But this week for the fans, we brought it back. So y'all know, if you can remember, every time that I do it, I try to keep a theme when I do my questions. So who knows what's going on this week? It is Thanksgiving, so we got some Thanksgiving quizzes for y'all in the NFL. Let's see what we can do. All right. So the first one's going to be pretty easy. We're going to go standard same. Let's see. Terrance, I'll let you go first. All right.
All right, cool.
All right.
Cool.
So there are 2 teams that always play on Thanksgiving Day. Who are those 2 teams? And I'm not giving options. Right. This is an easy one.
Whew.
Do they play each other or they just play?
I'm gonna need you. You look like you're on your phone, bro. What's Keith doing?
I'm looking up Marcus Peters.
He's on the phone,
Marcus
bro.
Peters. Marcus Peters.
No, we're done with the Marcus Peters. We're done.
I was looking up Marcus Peters interceptions.
This is tough.
There are
man.
2 teams. I'm so offended that y'all don't know this.
No, but I'm saying, are we just saying they play each other?
They play on Thanksgiving Day.
It's crazy because I think I know one, but then I don't think I know the other.
Can I go?
All right, Terrance, are you relinquishing your number 1?
I want to say, what if I do I get a point for saying one of the answers?
Nah, you gotta get both. We don't give half points around here.
Man, I'm gonna say.
Bro, I'm so disappointed in y'all right now. This is easy.
I'm going Cowboys and Bears.
Cowboys and Bears. All right, who you got?
I'll say Cowboys.
It's Cowboys and I hate both of y'all right now.
I really don't know. Cowboys and
I low key. I feel like it's.
No, you done.
The Washington football team.
No, it's not. I feel like it's the Cowboys and the Lions, ain't it?
It is, bro. I'm gonna give you that point, but goddamn, how do y'all not know this? It's the sorry. Everyone laughs because the Detroit Lions play first because they're the sorriest team in football. I
know it's the Cowboys,
but the Bears. The Bears, I think, played everyone but last year. Have they?
Well, because that's the thing. It's always like a rival. It's typically a rivalry game. Like it'll be the Cowboys and the Eagles, or the Cowboys and it's typically like it's not always like that. But
I couldn't think of who it was. I know it's the Cowboys, but I couldn't think of the other team.
Lions and the Cowboys every Thanksgiving. They don't play each other. They play on the day though.
Because Calvin had some crazy ass Thanksgiving game one year, I think.
All right. So since its inception in 1966, when they do the Thanksgiving Day games, the Dallas Cowboys have only missed how many games since 1966? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Terrance, I'll let you, or actually, Quise, I'll let you go first since you had that one. You're saying 3?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Terrance, what you got?
I'm going to go, just because I don't think it's 1, I'm going to go 1.
Okay, well,
neither
y'all got it. It was 2.
I was gonna say 2.
it was 73 and 70, or 75 and 77 were the 2 years that
I was gonna say 2, but I was like,
so funny.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be 1. So.
Yeah. All right. So the highest scoring Thanksgiving game was 44-40, and Detroit played in that game. They played one of their division rivals. Who was that division rival?
It was the Packers.
Okay. Terrance, who you got?
I'm trying to pick somebody else, but
and not surprisingly, Detroit lost. But
yeah, I'm gonna go Vikes or something.
Vikings. All right. Well, I appreciate your sportsmanship, but you also got shot in the foot because it was the Packers.
It was Aaron's comeback game where he threw the Hail Mary, wasn't it?
No, it was in 1986. But you got lucky as hell.
I was betting on it was that game too. I thought it was that game. I was like, yes, it was this game.
All right. So Detroit fans, y'all are gonna hate me because we're still gonna keep beating up on y'all's team because y'all play every Thanksgiving and y'all do not deserve it. But anyway, Detroit also was a part of the biggest blowout on Thanksgiving Day history. They got beat 47-10 by this team in the AFC South. What team was it? Terrance, you're going first this time.
To the AFC South.
Mm-hmm.
On Thanksgiving, it got to be 40-something to nothing, you said?
Yeah, and I'll give y'all a hint. It was 2000, or I'll give y'all a time frame. It was 2008, that year that they went 0-16.
Trash. Can I go with 2008? Ooh.
You know, Dan Orlovsky running out the back of the end zone.
I'm gonna go
that
with,
wasn't that game, but
I don't know why I'm gonna go with the Colts.
You're gonna stick with Indianapolis?
Yeah.
All right, Quise, who you got?
I want to say it's the Colts was Peyton, but bro, I'm gonna go Houston.
You know, Houston?
Yeah.
Well, it was the Tennessee Titans beat them.
Bro, that's crazy because I was thinking that too. Yeah. I was thinking out of Indianapolis and Tennessee, bro. I don't know.
I thought it was definitely Indy because of Peyton Manning, but I was like, oh, well, I'm going to do some weird shit. And
I was thinking Chris Johnson. That's what I was thinking.
So it was the CJ2K year. So that was.
I was thinking Chris Johnson, bro, but I was
trying to give y'all a time frame to get. But then as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, shit, Peyton played. I was like, oh, they're about to say Peyton. You
know, the funny shit about CJ2K is that man was really running sweeps and jet sweeps and hitting like the out poles. He destroying people.
Dude, he literally was like, he made me maybe make one move and then just gone. It was like,
bro, it was so crazy.
It was like, he was like the Tyreek Hill of running backs.
Jit was only running between like 4 holes and they're all were on the outside. Like, what do you mean that he was cooking people like that?
He just turned the burners on and said he was gone. So that was it.
That shit was crazy, bro. That shit didn't
make no sense. We back on some bullshit again. Quise won in overtime.
Yeah, you know, I gotta.
Y'all started on the easiest fucking question.
Bro, I gotta keep my crown on me. You know, I keep. You gotta let me gloat. You know, it's like that. You know, hopefully someday somebody come on this show.
Hey, somebody answers me by default. I'm gonna just throw that disclaimer on
there. Well, all right. That's been covered for with the guys. Appreciate y'all coming out. Y'all have a good night.